So guys, you are all accepted into the UCDC Winter 2021 program. We are very excited about this program because this fall was actually our first iteration of a remote program. And UCDC has been incorporating a lot of creative programming opportunities for students because it is a virtual environment. So we're excited for you to participate and then share your experiences with us. To get started, I just want to go over a few housekeeping notes. So the first is, if you don't mind just muting yourself when you're not talking, just so we don't experience any audio distractions. As I mentioned earlier, you are more than welcome to use your video, but it's not required of you at all. I really want this to be like a more informal kind of meet and greet with some important information as well. So feel free to ask us questions as we go throughout the presentation. You can put them in a chat box or just unmute yourself and ask us directly. You don't have to, worry about raising your hand or, holding your question in until the end. This is just a conversation amongst all of us to acquaint ourselves with each other. As I mentioned, it is being recorded, so I just wanted to give the FYI on that. I think it's also very important to mention that a lot of us are, still adjusting to working in a remote environment. And for that reason, it's okay to make mistakes. I am the first to admit that I am not the most technologically savvy person, and I will make mistakes, and that's totally fine. We're all learning, and we're all kind of doing this together. So just wanted to say that. And then finally, I will share this recording as well as the presentation slides with you guys all after. So you'll have access to that after this is over. So first, of course, I want to start by introducing myself and Dan and Alfreda. I know that when you guys applied to the program, you likely worked with Mariana, but she did retire at the end of June. And once she retired, UCSC Study Abroad, that's the office on campus that I work in, we actually took over the management of UCDC. And then I specifically am now the new UCDC program coordinator. So you'll work with me through this pre-departure process, and I'm more than happy to help and support you in any way that I can. My name is Ashley, and I do use she, her, ella pronouns. Yeah, I guess that was my introduction. Dan?
So hello, everyone, and I'm Dan Worrells. I'm the program program director on campus, and I'm a professor of politics. And I recently, as program director last year, but I have a long relationship to the program. I've been involved with it almost since it started on this campus over 20 years ago, and I've taught in Washington, D.C. in the building in 2013. So I'm very familiar with the program, but for all of us, this remote version is new. So we're all kind of learning. Thanks.
And then finally, unfortunately, Alfreda was not able to join our call this evening, but Alfreda Brock, she uses she, her pronouns. She's the UCDC program administrator with the UCDC academic internship team. So what does that mean? That means that she'll be working with you guys throughout the internship search process. Hopefully you've already received some emails from her. I know she said she started sending emails in August, but if you haven't received any communication from her, one, you might want to check your spam folder just in case it went there, or two, just let me know after this so I can let her know that you're not receiving her communications. But I'll go into more later about exactly how she'll help and support and guide you through the process. But please turn to her. She'll be a big resource and advocate for you through this internship search. So we would be remiss by introducing ourselves and not getting to know you all. And really, this is an opportunity for you guys to get to know each other. So I wanted to start off with some questions about you guys. First, I wanted to ask you if you'd introduce yourself with your name and your pronouns. If you tell us where you're from or even where you're at right now, what your major is, what kind of remote internship you're hoping to arrange, or if you've already arranged one, And then this is a bonus question. I think it's always, fun to do a little icebreaker. What's your favorite place of all the places you've traveled in California, the US, or internationally? And Dan and I did not answer that question, so I think we should. Dan, what's your favorite place of all the places you've traveled?
Oh, gosh.
I know it's hard to pick one, but
it's hard. And in some ways, maybe we're all biased by the more recent place, but I would still say France. I've been there a few times, and there have been different places in France, and really like a lot of aspects of it as a country. So.
Yeah, I would say I'm always driven by food when I go to places. So typically the places I enjoy the most are the ones that have the best food. So Mexico and Brazil are two of my favorite countries in the Americas. But I'm actually going to go with New Orleans right now. I love the culture in New Orleans. I was so surprised by it when I first visited, and I have an intense desire to go back, and the food is incredible there. So I'm going to go with that for right now. So maybe I'll just, if it's okay that I just call you guys out, just to make it a little easier for you. Michelle, do you want to start?
Hi, yeah, sure. Sorry.
Okay.
My name is Michelle Ramirez. She, her, hers pronouns. I'm from San Jose. That's where I'm currently at. My major, I'm double majoring in sociology and legal studies. I'm not really sure what kind of internship I would want to arrange, maybe somewhere in Congress or with the ACLU. And my favorite place of all the places I've traveled, I've been to Mexico. But I like Guanajuato. That's where I went. But it's Guanajuato capital, the capital of the state. It's really beautiful, and I don't know. I really love it.
Awesome. Thank you. Lauren?
Hi, y'all. My name is Lauren. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a fourth-year politics major from Los Angeles. The type of internship I'm looking for is something sort of policy-oriented. I'd be extremely happy with the UN. I think there's, 3 internships that they give out per year, so we'll see what happens with that. But something around policy or a think tank. My favorite places of all the places I've traveled, I have to disagree with you, Professor Worrells. I lived in France for a couple years, and it was not my favorite. My favorite is CA, but CA is in Canada. I love nature. Just part of the reason why I chose Santa Cruz was, the air just feels crisp and nice, and I experienced the same in basically all of Canada. So that's my favorite. And just a little shout out, I'm really close friends with Jessica Shu. I don't know if you remember her for Professor Rolls, but she says hi. So.
Oh, wow. Great. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren. How about Julia?
Hi, my name is Julia, or Jules, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from Montero, California. And I'm lucky enough to be in Tahoe right now. My friend has a house. It's really nice. I'm doing environmental studies and community studies. That was the plan, but this is all kind of changing what my plan is right now. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to finish with community studies. And before, when I thought this would be in person, I was really hoping for something on the Hill, more policy oriented. But yeah, I'm trying to think about what will be the best one for an online internship, and I'm just trying to figure that out. And I spend a lot of time in Brooklyn with my aunt, and I really like New York.
Man, NYC has some of the best food, and you can kind of get a little bit of everything there. So I'm with you. Zadie?
Hi, my name is Zadie. My pronouns are she or hers. I am from San Diego, but I'm currently living in Milpitas, so it's a very small town east of San Jose. I'm a politics major, legal studies minor, and as for the remote internship, I am hoping that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez opens her applications for winter quarter, because I know that she has been doing it remotely for fall and for summer. So fingers crossed that she opens up that opportunity because I would love to work with her. And if not, just somewhere within Congress is perfectly fine. And my favorite place that I have traveled to was Chicago. Very big city. Definitely not what I expected. And especially Chicago pizza, best pizza I've ever had.
Deep dish, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God. And just being in that city was just very like interesting. And like I've been to like the aquarium there. I've been to the hotel there where Obama stayed at, and it was just beyond amazing. So I wish I can go back.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Arliss?
Hi, I'm Arlette. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm from Redwood City, but right now I'm in Santa Cruz. My majors are legal studies and psychology. I'm kind of looking for an internship like working like with MALDEF or with Amnesty International or somewhere where I could just work with underrepresented communities. I haven't really traveled outside of like California, but anywhere with like good food is nice.
Nice. And then did I miss anybody? I don't think so, but if I did, please speak up. Okay. Well, thank you guys all for those introductions and for, answering the bonus question. Like I said, this is supposed to be an informal get to know each other as well as us handing out important information, to kind of prepare you right now for participation in the winter. So yeah. So moving on, I really want to go over some kind of important nuts and bolts about the remote program, and again, what you can be doing now to prepare for winter participation, including the internship search, the courses that you'll be enrolling in, all of that good stuff. And if there's anything that we have not covered, please let me know. This is different from our usual pre-departure orientations where we stuffed a bunch of information into the presentation, because now there's the UCDC orientation series course that's offered that's supposed to kind of supplement a lot of the information to help you guys throughout this pre-departure process. So I'll go more into that orientation series, but we strongly encourage you to enroll in it if you have not already, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. So first, I hope you guys have all been receiving the UCDC newsletter for winter students. If you have, then you might have seen that there is a commitment deadline for winter participation. That is this Friday, October 16th. We strongly discourage withdrawals after that date, because they are hiring faculty to teach the courses, and so they do need to know an accurate number of students for those winter courses. So if you are thinking about withdrawing, if you want to talk to me more about any questions or concerns that you have, please just let me know by Friday, October 16th. I got a really good question from a student about how to actually commit. I know you guys might have seen a guide with instructions on how to input your information into SIS, and that information is actually geared toward non-UCSC students, because students from other UCs actually use a different system to apply to the program. But because you all use the UCDC SIS system to apply, there's actually nothing else that you have to do. You're already all set to enroll. I think during the application process, the only tabs that you didn't have to fill out at the top were emergency contact and address. So if you haven't filled those out, please do, but there's really nothing else that you have to do right now. So yeah, does anyone have any questions surrounding commitment? And feel free to add those to the chat as well. I'll try to be monitoring that a little bit more. Okay, So this is really important. There is this UCDC orientation series that was just launched this fall. You should have received some emails from me describing the course, but it's really to provide you with like a step-by-step process of everything that you should be doing right now to prepare for winter. So if you have not already enrolled in that course, please do so. Even if you don't have the time to go to the live sessions, every session will be posted in the Canvas course. So you can access all of the all of the recorded sessions afterwards. And again, they really provide you all of the things that you need to know to help you with the internship, to help you with like your resume and your cover letter and your LinkedIn. It describes the UCDC courses, how to enroll in those courses, what those courses will be, how to find out more information about those courses. It'll talk more about like diversity, equity, and inclusion in a remote space. The 6 weeks will actually talk about like the November elections, and you know what implications that might have in DC and with your internships. And then finally, it'll talk about just like working remotely and kind of the etiquette of doing that. So again, if you have not enrolled, please do so. You can see the enrollment link right here. I'll also send these slides, but that'll really help you throughout this entire process.
Yeah, so actually, if you don't mind me adding,
Please.
yeah, so this was originally designed to be a course, not to give you a task, not to make things difficult for you, but it was just a way to provide a couple units to you so you could take this and be oriented to the program all to your advantage. So instead, because of the short notice, they're converting just in this sort of series of presentations. So it's really just to benefit you. It's not to give you tasks to do. It's not to make your life harder. It really is just so you're better prepared to go. And so I hope you see it that way. And all you're doing is really just taking a little bit of your time to kind of get ready for the program, as opposed to being, you know, something, oh, I have to do this because they're asking me to. So please do it, and you'll be better off for it for the quarter, definitely.
And again, if you cannot attend live, that's totally fine. But at least if you're registered, you'll have access to all of the recordings. So any questions about that orientation course? Okay. So now I just briefly want to go over what courses you will enroll in. In the most recent UCDC newsletter, I think they announced that enrollment will open on November 20th. It's really important to enroll once that begins, because classes may fill, and you just want to ensure that you get the courses that you want to complete during the winter. But basically, you're enrolled, or you're required to be enrolled in 2 courses. The first is the internship course, and the second is the seminar course. Now at UCSC, we will automatically enroll you in those courses. The registrar will manually enroll you in those courses. So when you go to your My UCSC account during winter, you'll see that you're enrolled in those courses. During the enrollment process, you'll have the option to take courses either pass, no pass, as you see with the seminar, or for a letter grade. But with the internship, it is only pass, no pass. The internship is for 7 units, and the core seminar is for 5 units. And the core seminar courses are actually already posted on the UCDC website. I think there's 5 or 6 that you can choose from, and they broach different fields. So one is just like, you know, research methods based. One might be more based in like a theme, a Washington related theme. So you can see what those are now, so that you can prepare to enroll in them at that November 20th enrollment date. And then finally, you have the option of taking an elective course. Now, these courses are for 4 units. In the fall, they offer 2 elective courses, and so I imagine in winter they'll offer 2 as well. You, because they're only 4 units, if you wanted to use one of those courses to meet a major or minor requirement, you would actually have to enroll in an independent study course. And we'll give you all of this information later on. I'm just kind of preparing you for it, because in order to have a course count towards a major or minor, it has to be at least 5 units. And because those electives are only 4 units, you have to do this independent study of 2 units so that you have 6 if you wanted to count towards a major or minor. If not, that's fine, and the credit will go on your transcript, but just something to keep in mind later in the future when you are enrolling. Dan, anything to add to the courses?
Yeah, just again, that's an elective, meaning you don't have to do it. And when we're in DC, when we're actually in residence at the building, most people don't, just because they're very busy with their internship. Now, that should be the same when you're remote, meaning you're spending, say, 30 or more hours at in your remote internship. But because you aren't traveling, because you aren't commuting, maybe you feel like you have time for an elective. So it might depend, it might be different with the remote. But a lot of people, when we're in DC, tend not to take the elective. They do the 12 units and, find 3 units somewhere else along their way. So on another quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I just wanted to mention about the courses is they really offer unique opportunity to engage with faculty in a different field in UCDC. It wasn't the first moderator of the presidential debate, was Chris Wallace. Is that correct, Dan? Yeah, he's actually UCDC faculty teaching this quarter. So just to kind of introduce you to some of the unique opportunities that you have to engage with faculty outside of UCSC and to form those relationships that can really help you in your future.
Yeah. And as another reminder, they're small classes, which you don't often get here on campus, absolutely. So to speak. Here, meaning I'm in Santa Cruz.
Absolutely. So I know internships have been on a lot of your guys' mind lately as you're kind of thinking about what you might want to do. I do want to say that, there are a wide variety of internships offered in any and all fields and subject areas. You should now have access to the UCDC internship database that's within SIS. And that database has, current internship listings for those organizations that routinely offer internship opportunities to UCDC students specifically. There are also internship opportunities posted within a UCDC newsletter. Can you guys just put in the chat box if you're receiving that newsletter, just say yes or no? Because if anyone in this conversation is not receiving the newsletter, I would need to inform UCDC staff because it has really important information to kind of keep you up to date on everything that you need to know in preparation for winter. So if you get a chance, if you could just put into the chat box yes or no to let me know if you're receiving the newsletter or not. Within that newsletter as well, the internship postings will say if they're paid, if they're unpaid, or if there's a stipend available through it. So something to keep in mind as you're, thinking about what type of internship opportunity you might do. I want to state this because I think sometimes students are a little confused about this. It's that you are responsible for finding your own internship, meaning you'll research organizations using the resources available to you. You'll apply on your own. Of course, you'll be supported throughout that process, mainly by Alfreda because she's been doing this for many, many years now. But you do have the responsibility of being proactive and seeking out those opportunities. And again, Alfreda will assist you throughout the process, and she'll provide you with internship leads. So if you did want to work with a human rights organization, you might reach out to Alfreda and be like, I'm interested in this. Are there any organizations that that past students participated in or internships with, and she can provide you different leads for that. So please utilize her as a resource. And by utilizing her, you have to communicate with her. I know she sends emails periodically, but if you don't communicate with her, then she really can't assist you or know where you're at in the process. So if you haven't already, it might be just a good idea to like reply to one of Alfreda's emails and introduce yourself and say what you're interested in, and just start forming those lines of communication with her for if and when you'll need her assistance in the future. So here I just have some things for you guys all to keep in mind right now as you're preparing your resumes and looking for potential internship opportunities. That we strongly encourage you to get your resume and cover letter reviewed before actually submitting it to your potential future employer. You can do this by uploading drafts into the UCDC internship database, where Alfreda can review them for you. Also, there will be information about this process in the orientation series I discussed earlier. But we really don't want you submitting resumes or cover letters without being reviewed, just so that we can make sure that you're the strongest candidate possible. Not only can you just send them to Alfreda, like feel free to send them to me as well. I'm happy to help review anything I can. And when you do complete your resume or either in your cover letter, just make sure that you mention that you're in the UCDC Winter 2021 program, because again, there are organizations that routinely hire our students specifically. So at least they'll know that when reviewing your application materials. In the cover letters, we just want to like give a quick note on things to like remember to include. So definitely include your dates of availability and the number of hours that you can work per week. We require that our students work anywhere from 24 to 32 hours a week in their internship in order to receive the 7 units. So please keep that in mind. Here it tells you that the dates you can intern from. So that's the beginning of January to mid-March. And if you can, if you put that you can work outside of that a little bit, it could make you a stronger applicant. So just some things to keep in mind. And then if there are letters of recommendation required for your internship, for example, a lot of internships on the Hill require letters of recommendation, please contact Alfreda if they do say that. Dan, is there anything that I didn't say here? Okay, cool. So this is the next list. So as you begin applying to internships, we just want to make sure that you're actually following up with organizations at least 2 weeks after submitting if you haven't heard anything back from them. Some organizations might not allow follow-ups, but they'll say that within the application themselves to not follow up. But if it doesn't have that note, please do follow up. In terms of preparing for interviews, Alfreda will send you resource guides on how to actually do that. The UCSC Career Center also can help with that. They'll do mock interviews with you virtually. There's many career coaches who have worked with our students and kind of know what these internship organizations are looking for. So please be sure to utilize, not only UCDC staff, but UCSC resources that we have here on campus. And again, the orientation series will also provide tips for preparing for your internship interviews. After you do interview for a position, it's really important to send a thank you note. You should do this no later than 24 hours after the interview. Sometimes, one, it's kind of the thought that counts, right? And it also allows the interviewer to actually like remember you a little better. So be sure to do that. And then I guess just a quick guide for what to do once you're offered. I'm not going to, give you an extensive overview of everything that you should do, but just some things to keep in mind are to, you don't necessarily need to take the first offer that you receive. If it's an offer from the organization that you want, then that's great. But if you receive multiple offers, it is really important to kind of weigh the strengths and weaknesses, because you really want this internship to align with, of course, your professional goals, but also any academic or personal goals that you have. It's important that you really like take the time to consider this, because once you do accept, it is binding. Of course, if after a few weeks you do not like the internship at all, then you could work with Alfreda to find a different one. But it's a really big step for you to accept this. The organization counts on you, and it's required, for participation. So please just keep that in mind. And know that when you do accept, there is going to be an internship offer form that you have to fill out in the UCDC internship database system. But this is nothing that you have to remember all right now, because you'll get plenty of information on that to come. I also wanted to go over some upcoming events with you offered by UCDC. They're going to have like a speaker series. And so here you'll receive, what those events are within the UCDC newsletter. But also I just wanted to highlight some here because, UCDC is very, very well connected and recognized in the DC area. I mean, it's a very prestigious program, and I applaud all of you for participating. But you'll, be able to speak directly to the likes of, former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright and other well-known people within the DC area. So just very, very unique opportunities that are offered to you by participation in the program. So you should all applaud yourself for participating. Anything else on that? I mean, because you lived in DC and kind of been connected to the program for a while, would you want to speak about, I don't know, any other unique opportunities that UCDC offers students in terms of connecting with activists, mentors?
Yeah. So that's, again, in the remote version, you won't be on the ground in DC, but I think the center is trying to do its best, as you see before you, to continue a lot of the programming that makes the program so great, such as the speaker series. And, with your internship, even though it's remote, it's still a good chance to establish some connections with various groups, particularly the group you're working with, but it might connect you with other groups as well as you do your work. So, even though you're not in DC, it's still a really good chance to both develop your professional skills in various ways, your research skills, but also make connections to people that might, end up being beneficial in all sorts of ways.
Absolutely. And finally, that's all we kind of wanted to go over today. Again, a lot of the kind of need to know information will be provided in the UCDC orientation series. I do want to point out, if you do have questions, if they're campus specific, please feel free to write Dan or I have our emails listed here. But if you do have internship related questions, be sure to reach out to Alfreda. If you receive financial aid and have any questions about that, then Luis Melgoza at the UCSC Financial Aid Office will help you. We send lists to registrar on financial aid every quarter, so that'll automatically be applied to your program participation. But just so you know who to reach out to if you needed to. And then if you wanted to set up an appointment with me to talk to me about anything, you do this in Slugs Abroad, which is our study abroad application database system. If you want to know how to do that, just shoot me an email, and I'd be more than happy to explain with you. But that's all I have for now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then open it up if any of you guys have any questions.
Please.
And I know it's still early. I mean, fall just started, so like thinking about winter might be a lot at this point in time, which is totally understandable. But we're here right now to answer any questions that you have. And again, you can write us anytime and we'll answer them that way as well.
Yeah, we're also hoping to maybe have more for you in the near future, just because, the fall students have only barely gotten going in their version of the remote program at DC. So, we hope to maybe offer some feedback later on about the kind of experiences they're having as well.
Absolutely. Okay, well, if you guys don't have any questions, then
Oh, you see the chat?
yep. So I'm actually going to send both this recording as well as the presentation slides to all of you guys. So the 4 of you that are here now and everyone who wasn't able to attend, I will send that out to them so you can let them know that they'll be receiving that shortly after I can upload it.
Good.
I have a question about the timeline of this quarter. So when, like, should we be applying in like this week and next week, and the like what weeks of this quarter should we be applying to internships?
You can start that process as soon as possible. It's never too early to secure, and some organizations want to hire interns well in advance to prepare for the next quarter. But right now, what you really should be doing is polishing your resume and sending that to Alfreda so that she can review it for you, and also looking up which organizations that you want to apply to. Some students I know have made spreadsheets and just have a list of 5 organizations and the how to apply information, so that can be all set up and ready to go. But as you're looking at organizations, you also want to be drafting your cover letter. Obviously, it's always a great idea to highlight your strengths within the cover letter. So you could kind of make a general one, but you will always have to tailor it to that specific organization and what their needs are and what they're looking for. So just be sure to use keywords out of the job description. And again, please send those cover letters to Alfreda. So to answer your question, Julia, it's not too early to start applying. Some students, they apply 2 weeks before starting the program, which can be a lot more nerve-wracking. So we definitely want you to start as early as possible. But at this time right now, you really should be focused on your resume and your cover letter and researching the organizations that you want to apply to and the opportunities that you're interested in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. And again, that orientation series course is going to help you so much. So again, if you're not enrolled, just enroll and watch the recordings if you can't attend the live sessions, because it was designed with UCSC students specifically in mind. So if that's all, I thank you guys for dedicating the time to be here.
And as another, just to urge you, you're welcome to contact me as well about any of this and talk about this. And I'd also be happy to look at resumes and cover letters if you want as well. So
thank you guys so much.
No, thank you guys for attending. And
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to be able to get engaged with you and put faces to names. I know we send you emails and you put who is this? So now you kind of know us a little bit better. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for attending.